You are listening to I'm Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
Hey guys, this is I'm Refocused podcast, and today we have an awesome show lined up for you. Man, we have a returning guest that we have to get on the show. Her name is Rachel Smets. She has been on TED Talk. Last time she was on here, we had her talk about living abroad. Today, we are going to talk about taking charge of your life, and we're going to talk about her experiences at TED Talk events and also her cultural training experience. So I just want to welcome you, Rachel, to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be back, and let's just, give a lot more to your listeners.
Awesome.
I'm ready.
So when it comes to TED Talk, tell us about your first experience being at TED Talk and what were some of the things that you discussed?
Yeah, I did 2 TED Talks so far. My aim is still to do a third big one, but let's see about that. But my very first one, it was titled Your Next Step. And I started researching TED Talks because I really wanted to share the message to the world, like, take your next step in your life and go and achieve your dreams and goals. And I have done it, and it takes effort, and it's not easy. I always keep repeating that, but it is possible. And if you do a TED Talk, it's all about sharing a message, sharing an idea, an idea worth spreading. That's what they say. And that message is something I really wanted to spread into the world. So I started researching TEDx Talks, and there I was, I'm not an experienced speaker at all. And I just started researching it and started, taking those little small steps to become a speaker. Until I got on the stage. It's a whole process, but I'm so happy that I could share the message. Like, look at me. I was shy. I was, not experienced at all. And here I am standing on a stage and telling you guys to achieve your dreams and goals. And that's what I did. So if I can do it, you can do it too. And
for you, you chose to live abroad, and we discussed that topic in the last show. Mm-hmm. But what do you think holds people back from taking charge of their life? Why do you think people are so comfortable just going through the routine?
Well, because it's a natural thing to do. It's only human. It's human to stick to the comfort zone. It's human to just do the things that we are used to do. And it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to step out of that comfort zone, which we'll talk about in a moment. But it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of effort to step out of that circle, and that effort takes energy. And a lot of people prefer to just just do the things that they're used to, and it's sad to see, because maybe people think, oh, it's too difficult, or it's a lot of things, a lot of reasons. Some people look at other people and say, oh, they're so lucky and they can do it and I can't. Why? Some people say, yeah, but I have a family and kids and I don't have time to achieve my goals. And some people say, well, maybe, it takes a lot of money and investments and I don't have that money. And all kinds of excuses. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm alone. I'm lonely. You name it. There's tons of excuses, but it all comes down to one thing. You can make up all the excuses that you want. And of course, a lot of it is true, but you got to take those small steps. And I call it small, actionable steps. There's always a small, actionable step. Think about it very simple. You want to run a marathon. Are you going to run a marathon tomorrow? No way. You start with walking. Then you walk a bit faster. Then you run for 1 mile, and then 5 miles, and then 10 miles. That's how you do it. So it's the same thing in life. You want something, you can get it. I guarantee that. You can. But it's those small steps.
I love what you were saying moments ago about is coming to that one thing, because we have so many available excuses to choose from. But when you really want to take charge of your life, it really boils down, what is that one thing that charges you to want you to take charge?
There's another thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I would like people to be aware of the fact that being responsible and taking charge of your life, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's your choice. You can choose either to sit in that comfort zone, do nothing, stay stuck, and keep your excuses. Fine. I'm absolutely respecting everybody's choice. It's fine. You know, some people are fine with doing the same routine day in, day out, and that's great if they're happy. But you have a choice to take charge of your life, to change the things if you're unhappy, and to pursue your goals and dreams. So it's a choice. It's really nothing more than a decision. Like, yes, I'm going to stay stuck. This is me. This is my life. Or, no, I don't want this life. I want different things. And that decision, it's huge. But it's all your own responsibility, your own choice, because nobody will do that for you. I mean, I've lived abroad, lived in different countries. I had to make a ton of decisions: where, what, when, all of these, which house, which insurance. Every single decision is one that I have to make. And yes, I ask everyone's opinion. Oh, what did you do? And how do you do that? And it's great to ask a lot of questions, but the decision, it's yours and yours only. It's your life. It's your decision. It shouldn't depend on anybody else.
And you also have experiences doing training, cultural training. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm passionate about cultural differences, and cultural differences in our global world now. We're just one click away. I mean, here you are. We're just, you're overseas. I mean, we have an ocean in between us, and we're actually working together right now at this second. So we're only a click away from the rest of the world. And a lot of businesses do business with other cultures. However, different cultures can cause a lot of frustrations when you do business together, when you communicate together, because one culture is very punctual, another is not. How do you meet people? How do you greet people? What is polite? What is rude? In the Netherlands, people are very direct. It's a direct way of communicating, but for other cultures, it can appear very rude and very blunt. So all of these different cultures, different ways of communicating can cause a lot of mistakes, a lot of frustration, a lot of stress, a lot of deals that don't go, a lot of, discussions. And knowing a little bit more about the culture is what I train people in. So I train, let's say, real estate agents dealing with expats, other businesses doing international business. If you know a little bit about the basics, like why is a culture like that and not like that, and the fact that we all are different cultures, it makes such a huge difference in the way you understand each other. It's all about being a little bit more culturally sensitive, knowing a bit more about the basics of these cultural differences. It just goes such a long way to understand each other.
That goes hand in hand with what we're talking about, taking charge of your life. Because they both are requiring the individual to make a choice. And after you make that choice, what comes after that is an action. And whatever your action is going to lead to the results that you either want or you're not where you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's a choice to, do you want to stick to your own little bubble of environment, or do you want to, go out of there and be more global? And if you mingle with more international or do business with more global people around the world, then it's important to be more culturally aware and culturally competent, and again, step out of your comfort zone and adjust your English a little bit, or adjust your gestures a little bit, and the way you communicate. All of these small little things, it's all an adjustment, really.
And two, all these small things are like pieces to the puzzle. It just makes the bigger picture. Versus, here's my set of pieces, but I don't want to put it together and find more pieces to go along with it. Because that's what happens. Yeah. We miss the bigger picture of what really matters.
Yeah, and life is a journey. I mean, do you know what's going to happen in 1 year, in 5 years? No. So it's important to have a goal and a dream and to know what you want into your life. But, you got to remain flexible. You got to, go a little bit left, a little bit right along the way and see how things are going. And that's all part of the journey.
Oh, I really like that, because what you just said, being flexible, that's very true, because Try driving a car in a straight line forever. It's not going to work. There's going to be turns. There's going to be exits. There's going to be things. It's so many things that you're doing in life that requires you to adapt to certain situations. Now, before we wrap up this segment, touch on ways people can learn how to adapt and be flexible while they're taking charge of their life, knowing that not everything will happen the way they will like it to.
Mm-hmm. How to remain flexible, be open-minded, observe objectively, don't judge, and be aware of your own self. I think self-awareness is the biggest thing. Be aware of what are you doing. Are you having a one-tunnel vision, or are you being open-minded? Just observe yourself before you observe others.
That's perfect what you just said. I mean, today we are talking about taking charge. We're talking about not just knowing what to do, but being able, like she was saying, being open-minded enough to where as you're doing it, you're not putting yourself in a box. And that's a perfect segue. We're going to take this quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about why it's important to not be in the comfort zone and what are the risks if you stay there. So don't touch that iPhone. Man, you're listening to I Am Refocused podcast. We are talking to Rachel Smets. We will be right back.
Welcome to Rockefeller's Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockefeller's Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Road. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast on iHeartRadio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning at business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Welcome back. This is I Am Refocused podcast. We are talking to Rachel Smets. First half of the show, we were talking about taking charge of your life, being open-minded, being flexible along the way on your journey. This second half of the show, we're going to talk about the comfort zone and why it is not a great place to stay. So Rachel Smets, tell us, what do you think, based on your own experience, what do you think the comfort zone does to an individual?
Interesting. Well, comfort zone is a very nice little place. It's a place that we all know. It's, eating the foods that we know, speaking the language that we know, meeting the people that we know, hanging with the people that we know. It's doing all the things that we're familiar with and that we know. And stepping out of that comfort zone is doing all of the things that are new and different. And, that's scary. And it can cause anxiety to talk to somebody else and to discover a new country or new people or new food. Doesn't matter. So it's a whole different world, and both are fine. If you want to stay in your comfort zone, that's fine. But then what will happen in your life? Will you learn something new? Will you discover something that you didn't know? Will you develop yourself? If you want all of these things, then you got to step. And that takes effort. And there's this, one thing that you have to keep in mind is comfort is the enemy of change.
That's good.
Comfort is the enemy of change. And so if you want to change something in your life, you got to step out of that comfort zone. And that's a question you just have to ask yourself, like, do I want to stay in this life, to do the same things every single day and be the person that I am now for the rest of my life? If that is a choice that you choose, fine, absolutely fine. But if you want to develop yourself, if you want to learn something, if you want to do something different, if you want to discover things, then you have to step out of that comfort zone. And there's a world out there. Is it scary sometimes to do something completely different? Yes. And that's normal. I mean, it's normal. It takes effort to do something different. But it's just so, so, so worth it, because you grow and you develop yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm. And that's the key word, grow, because there's no growing in old ways. What happens when you get out of the comfort zone too, based on my experience as well, and I'm sure for you, what happens is new experiences are coming in your life when you're out of your comfort zone. But if you're in your comfort zone and you're like, well, I'm going to just settle. Well, if you settle, you end up repeating the same experiences because nothing really changes. Your environment stays the same. And it's like you become dull. It's like a knife. It doesn't stay sharp. It gets real dull. And that's what happens in your life. And you wonder why things are not as great as it could be. Well, you should ask yourself, what am I doing to make it different?
Yeah. And I mean, it just comes down to, if you want to succeed in life, I think that's the thing, if you want to succeed in life with anything, then you have to step out of your comfort zone. And when I say succeed, I'm not saying earn a ton of money. Success is different for every person. Do you want to be an excellent student? Do you want a degree? Do you want to build your own business? Do you want to start, a singing career? It doesn't matter what. If you succeed in whatever you want to succeed, you have to step out of that comfort zone. You have to face those fears, take action, and take those steps. We come back to these small actionable steps. Take those steps and beat that fear. Make friends with that fear, because that's what you're going to get. Anxiety and fear comes along the way, but it's all part of your journey called life.
And it's just talking about this made me think about a video I watched on YouTube where Will Smith, he was talking about laying a brick down, but not just laying it down. He said laying it down the most perfect way possible. And I guess he got it from his dad, because he said if you just focus one brick at a time, soon you'll be able to build that structure. Yeah. His dad was teaching him a lesson about life and being consistent. And getting out the comfort zone is all about consistency. It takes practice, because like you said in the first half of the show, it's not that you do something and then boom, you just miraculously get to where you want to be in life, or you're satisfied, I should say. It's being consistent daily, that I'm be committed to this change. Because a lot of times we want to do change, like say someone wants to exercise more or run a marathon, like you said in the first half. Well, you have to take those small actionable steps to be able to even see any results.
Yeah, and don't give up. It's like you say, consistency. It's in other words, don't give up, because you may want to do one step and then you think, it doesn't go fast enough. Like, I'm so not patient at all. So I want things to happen fast. And, like writing a book or like building a career. And it's like, all of these things and I just want it to be done. No, it doesn't go that way. It takes time, and it takes the step consistently, like repetition, do it again and again and again. And when you talk about really famous people or successful people or TV people, I mean, I've interviewed so many people, and it's all about, taking those actions, taking those steps, like you're mentioning, and repeating it over and over again. I mean, go to the gym. You just said it. Do you go to the gym once and then come out with a muscular body? No way. You have to repeat it. Go back and go back and go back. It's the same with confidence. skill. Confidence is something that you build. You take a step, you overcome a small fear, you take another step, you overcome again. Physiologically, your body's saying like, yeah, I did it once, so I can do it again. And then you do it again. And it's like a victory, an empowerment. And you build and you build and you build up on that until you get a lot more confident. And those are all these steps that lead to success. In whatever, in a career, in anything that you're thinking about, even becoming a successful, parent, for example. It's just all of these steps, and everything is important. That's true.
And it's great that we're talking about successful people. Like you just mentioned that you've interviewed a lot of individuals.
Yeah.
It's always been said, especially life coaches, that if you surround yourself with the right people who are doing what you already desire to do, they naturally pull you out of your comfort zone, because some of the things that they do, you will never be able to do where you are.
That is such an important topic that I write and talk about a lot, and it's your tribe. The people you surround yourself with. It's one of the key elements that I just keep repeating, because it's so important to surround yourself with supportive people, with people that motivate you, with people that inspire you. Instead, when you see somebody having a job or a career or doing something or some skill that you admire, instead of sitting back and thinking, I wish I was like them and they're so successful and they're so lucky, and no, be inspired and learn from them. Look at them. And that's what I did. I wanted to write books. I didn't sit back and think, I'll never make it. No, I started talking to authors, seeking those authors, saying, hey, how did you begin? What did you do? I asked a ton of questions. Public speaking, I never talked in front of an audience. I started talking to public speakers. How did you do it? What's your advice? What steps did you take? Building a career online, same story. Ask, you want a job? Go and talk to people who have that job. You want to live abroad? Go and talk to people who are living abroad. So be inspired and ask them a ton of questions, and then take it step by step. And those are the people that are inspiring you. They will motivate you because they know they've been where you are now. Nobody just becomes successful. They all go through it. They all start somewhere. It's like me online. I'm like, at first, you build a Facebook page or a group or an Instagram or account, and then you have 0 followers, and then 1, and then your mom, and then, 2, and then, but and you may lose courage, they have 1,000 and 1 million followers and I only have 10. So what? They all started with 1. Everybody starts, but the ones that succeed are the ones that keep going and that don't give up. And that's why your tribe is so important, the people that will keep motivating you because they've been there. And that is so important, and it's not so easy to build. If I stick to my family, for example, like let's say my mom, she's always, she's a lovely person. I love my mom, but she always puts me in doubt. Like, why do you do this? Why would you want to go abroad? Why don't you come back home? Why don't you come into your comfort zone? No, I want to be with the people that lift me up, that inspire me, that take me, to all these different places, and that keep me. I just want to keep learning and growing, and that's the people that I will attract in my life and that I will communicate with. And it's a selection. It's a selection that you make of people. Who do you hang with? Do you feel guilty if you miss a birthday party, if you didn't call that friend and she's going to be happy because you didn't call her for 1 week? Is that the people you want to be surrounded with? Or is it the people that, make you grow and believe in you and support you, and no matter what you do?
And that's a very interesting thing to say, to think about this too. You can't really choose the things that happen to you in life, but you can make a choice of how you want to live your life.
Yeah, it comes back to what we first said. It's a choice. You are responsible for your life. Do you want to stay in your comfort zone or not? It's a choice. Do you want to hang with the people that bring you down, take all your energy, drag you here and there, and you feel guilty? Or do you want to hang with people who inspire you and who motivate you? It's a choice. Everything is a choice. You want to achieve your goal and your dream and take the steps? It's a choice. Or do you want to hang on the couch and just watch TV and spend your days in your normal comfort routine? I sound really hard, but that's the reality. It's a choice.
It is true because the truth hurts and lies are like pillows. They're comfortable.
Yeah. And, people sometimes look at me and like, oh, and you're so lucky and you're traveling the world and this and that. Seriously, am I lucky? Is it easy? No, but day in, day out, I tell myself, Rachel, it's a choice. Do you want to sit back? Do I want to go back? Or do I want to move forward? And I want to move forward. And is it easy? No. And do I have days that I feel really down? Yes, I'm human. But it's just every day, finding those people that will motivate you and finding that courage again and just, just doing it and remembering at all times, that when I grow old, I don't want to look back at my life thinking, what if I had done that? And what if I had done that? No, I want to do it. I want to do it. And I'm not 20 anymore. Some students, they're maybe they have it easy. They live at home, they travel the world, and it's just, I passed 40 here, and I'm still living my life the way I want and making those choices. So it's possible.
And the thing is, you can complain after you do it, but don't complain before you start.
Love it. Yeah.
Because like you're saying, the journey is a journey. And a lot of times we want to put a stop on the journey for whatever reason, because we feel like, we're not supposed to be here or we're not supposed to do this. Well, if you think you need a shift, just shift. You don't need permission. I think we talked about that on the first time he was on the show. You don't necessarily need permission to make a choice. I mean,
no,
it's okay
because it's your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, right then, there, what you just said is your life.
Yeah, and I can already hear people thinking now, like, yeah, but that's easy, and I have a family, and I don't have the money, and I have this, and I have responsibilities in life. We all do. That's why I keep saying it's not about having a thought or a dream and thinking, oh, tomorrow I want to run the marathon. No, it's those small steps. If you have a goal and a dream to start a business, to have another career, start by talking to somebody. Small steps. Talk to somebody who's there. Maybe you will change your mind, maybe not. Talk to somebody who can open another door for you. And then just, find these little actionable steps. They're there for everyone, really.
And even if talking to you, if that's too big of a step, you could even find so many books on Amazon that can help you build up that confidence to talk to somebody. Because a lot of times we won't even get up and talk to someone because we feel that they are too good for us to talk to. And that's like the biggest, misconception that we believe in.
Yeah, because people love when you ask their opinion. People love it when you have interest in them. They would love to answer your question, even if they're big. I don't care if I'm talking to the director of a company or the cleaning lady in a hotel. I don't care. People love it when you talk to them and ask them their opinion and their suggestions.
Well, man, time sure flies by when you're having fun. It's like, man, the plane takes off and it has to land eventually.
Yeah.
But I want to say thanks for taking your time out of your busy schedule to come back on the show to talk about taking charge of your life and why you should not stay in your comfort zone. Because I think when you break it down that way, it doesn't matter what field you're in. It doesn't matter what career you're in. Whatever you do, whatever your talent is, whatever your purpose is, if you learn one thing from this episode, is make a choice.
It's your choice. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I'm so open to answer any questions. If people want, they can probably find me on my website, rachelsmets.com, and you will put the links under your podcast. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask me any questions. Please. I love questions. So go ahead. And thank you again for having me.
Awesome. Well, it's been our pleasure to have you on the show. You guys have been listening to I Am Refocused podcast. And like we say on every single episode, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.